Hey guys, welcome back to the jungle. Sporangutan here. Welcome to my brand new channel about mycology. Here, I will document my journey so that we can all learn from not just my mistakes, but also my huge successes as well. Today, I decided to take some time and show you all quick my incubation tent setup. Now this is where I keep all of my agar and inoculated grain to keep it at a higher temperature than the rest of the room. I like to keep this tent at around 75 to 79 degrees Fahrenheit, as this seems to be the perfect range to have my grain and agar colonize faster with less chance of contamination. Too high of temperatures can increase your contamination rates for sure. I usually have to work on my knees in here as I'm a little taller than the tent actually is, but here's my heater and such. If you'd like a more in-depth video, just let me know. Next, I wanted to show you some grain I have that's just about ready to spawn, but not quite. If you see, each of these jars have little spots where it's not quite colonized yet. You want to make sure that it's fully colonized before spawning to bulk, as this will greatly decrease contamination rates. Now, I did a break and shake 4 days ago on these, and it's almost done. As long as it recolonizes fairly quick after a break and shake, you should still be good in the green for spawning. For such reason, I always do a break and shake right before full colonization, just to make sure. Finally, I just want to take the time to show you all some contaminated grain. Now this type of stuff happens to everyone, as no one's really a mushroom superhero. Our job is to get contamination rates as low and as close to zero as we can make it. The more contamination we have, the more you have to completely clean your workspace, as well as you have to deal with more contaminated spores being in the air in general. Anyways, today's video will not just be about my incubation tent, but also my craziest cluster that I've had so far in my cultivation career. This cake was nothing but 3 big clusters, so I decided to clone it as well alongside our last 2 clones. This will complete the first round of phenotypes I plan to hunt on this channel. 1 light cap, 1 squatty balloon, and this ultra monster of a cluster. Stay tuned, as all 3 will grow out across 90mm agar plates and then get sent to grain. If each of the phenotypes carry over, I will then go back to spore and start going through the generations in an attempt to further isolate these features. I can't wait, as this is the start of a crazy journey we're about to embark on. If you have any projects you're working on, feel free to run them alongside any of mine. If you do, make sure to post them on Instagram and use hashtag Sporangutan to share the love. I love to see all of your grows, as my grows progress as well. It helps keep me just a little more occupied, so I'm not consistently checking up on my bins. Besides that, let's hop right into our cloning. Obviously, we got the cleaning in the beginning. Make sure everything, including your work surface, tools, sab, torch, and whatever else you plan to use, is sanitized with 70% iso alcohol. This is what will kill the most amount of contamination before you get started. I always make sure to wipe down my table in at least 3 cycles, as well as my sab. This has really improved my contamination rates. I plan to get a lab journal and start taking some really in-depth notes, so I can get you all some in-depth numbers for contamination rates, ratios, weights, and just everything I'm experiencing. As for now, I try to record as much as I can through my Discord and Patreon. Now, time for what we have all been waiting for. This is my biggest cluster by far that I've ever seen. It started off as a bottom growth on a cake, so I decided to flip it over and see if I could get it to successfully fruit. This is the product of that. It almost reminds me of Tangela from Pokemon. To start the cloning process, as we went over in the last cloning video, you want to tear the fruiting body down the center. This is because you want some of the most fresh part of the fruit to avoid any sort of contamination. Grabbing a clone from the outside would surely increase contamination rates, and no one likes that. Now, if the fruit is too small to rip, then you can just take a small section of the mushroom and throw it onto an agar plate. But Like I said, your chance of contamination is greatly increased. One thing I would like to add is that it seems like the longer you wait to harvest, the harder it is to cut a sample from. Once you get your sample from the fruit, go ahead and throw that on the agar. This will slowly start to grow out and create mycelium off of the clone, in which I can take for transfer from and colonize an entire plate with. This ensures that my clone plate is clean before it goes to grain. I am looking for clean, symmetric growth on the agar, as this will ensure there's no underlying bacteria or contamination. I also want to take this time to show you the progress of these 2 clones that we did in our last cloning video. Like I said, all 3 of these clones will be featured in a specific grow along video to see if the cloning improves the growth of all of them and to see if any of the traits I was looking for will transfer over as well. Stay tuned, as this is shaping to be my favorite project that I've done so far. And once you're done with that, make sure to properly label your plate or cup. This ensures that there's no mix-ups or mislabelings while doing your transfers. Real quick, before we go, I have a website that I just created, giving you all the opportunities to support the Sporangutan love wearing my merch. Doing so helps me to turn this into my full-time job or even part-time job. We have some really nice hats, shirts, hoodies, or even face masks that you can show your mushrooms you support me while doing your mycology work. I also have a Patreon where I post daily content about my grow, along with full informational fruiting content as I progress through my journey in mycology. When you become a patron, you gain access to my Discord server. This is where we can all create a great sub-community around these amazing things we call fungi, along with make some amazing friends in the process. On my Discord, you'll be able to get a hold of me with any myco-related questions. Along with this, we'll be doing giveaways, group grows, and trading genetics as well. If you ever need any help, I'll be on there daily to try to help everybody out that I can. Alright guys, that's enough from me right now. Make sure to drop a comment so that we can start doing a comment of the day at the beginning of my videos, starting soon. Let me know what you'd like to see, what problems you're having, or just let me know how your day was. Have a great day everyone, and be safe out there. Peace.